Welcome to Vibrational Doorways Crystals, and this video where we're going to focus on Bornite and Peacock ore. So we have one piece of Bornite, two pieces of Peacock ore, and an interesting question is, well, why are we doing Peacock ore and Bornite? And the simple reason is that Bornite is Peacock ore is Bornite. So this is Bornite, natural Bornite, and these two pieces are Peacock ore. So the first question is, well, if they're the same mineral, why have they got a different name, and what's the difference? Well, as you might be able to see, when you look at the Peacock ore, the reason why it's called Peacock ore is because along the surface there is these lovely metallic colours. So we can see dark blues and purples and yellows and oranges. But when we look at Bornite, we don't see those colours. So if it's the same mineral, how come this doesn't have colours but this specimen does? And the simple reason is because Peacock ore is Bornite that has been dipped in acid. So it's dipped in acid, so the acid reacts with the surface of the Bornite and it produces these lovely peacock colours. And the reason people do that is to enhance the stone so it becomes more valued, more valuable, to increase the price. And this is something that I was told by a crystal seller in the UK who one day was on a buying trip, and I can't remember which part of the world he was visiting at the time, but he said that he was in the warehouse. He went to the back of the warehouse and he suddenly entered a room where people were just taking Bornite, dipping it into acid and changing it into Peacock ore. So that is the reason why Bornite is given the name of Peacock ore, because it brings out the colours. And I know some crystal therapists and crystal healers do have a policy of only working with crystals that are natural, minerals that have not been enhanced by man. And Peacock ore is one that has definitely been enhanced by man. Someone along the supply chain has dipped it into acid. My own personal experience is that even though it has been changed and enhanced, the process of dipping it into acid doesn't actually harm the Bornite in any way. So it's not a stone that I wouldn't use because it's been changed. Bornite is still a very valuable healing crystal to use. And to be quite honest, the vast majority of Bornite has been turned into Peacock ore. It is very, very rare to see a natural, undipped piece of Bornite. Most people would assume that this is Bornite because they've never seen the real thing, or the undipped thing, because this is still a real mineral. It's just been enhanced on the surface. So if you go into shops, you will see an awful lot of Peacock ore, very little untreated Bornite. But from an energy healing perspective, Peacock ore will work just as well as Bornite. It's not a crystal that I believe has been damaged in the process of being dipped in acid, which is a really cool thing, because it is actually, from my experience, one of the most useful and underrated healing minerals out there. And I discovered that from a paragraph in Melody's book, Love is in the Earth. Now this is the green version, so it shows you how long I've been doing crystal healing. This one goes back to the 1990s. And in the book, I don't agree with everything she says about Bornite in here, but there's one specific paragraph I want to read out to you that held for me a clue about why Bornite / peacock ore is such a useful mineral to have in your healing collection. So the paragraph says as follows: it produces an energy similar to the energy of alignment. It also emits a circular energy which returns to itself. Upon the return, it transforms any negative forces which have been gathered into pure beneficial energy. When the energy of Bornite is applied to a part of the body, it affects the remaining portions as well. Now, as with a few melody entries, when you first read it, you have to go, okay, I need to work out what that means. But quite simply, it means that if you have a blocked area and you place Bornite along somewhere on the blockage, it helps to unblock the stagnant chi, or energy, or prana, if we want to use the word prana. And if you know your Chinese medicine, you'll also know that in traditional Chinese medicine, when the energy is flowing, it produces health. When the energy is not flowing, then it produces a blockage, it produces stagnant areas, and the energy system manifests imbalance, which manifests some kind of illness. That's how it's seen in traditional Chinese medicine. So in traditional Chinese medicine, a lot of techniques have been developed, such as acupuncture and shiatsu, to help create energy flow once again. So if peacock ore is able to be placed on a part of the body and create the energy flow again, then it can enhance our feeling of well-being. And that's what I found. Peacock ore, because of this ability to transform stuck areas into positive areas of flow, is a very good healing stone to have. Now the downside is that you've got to be able to suss out on the body where the stuck areas are. So it requires a certain degree of body awareness, being able to tune into your own body and sort of like ask it or feel where the areas of flow are and where the areas of non-flow are. And something you'll find, and this is true for conventional medicine, conventional Western medicine, something that doctors know about. Just because you've got a pain in one area doesn't mean that the pain's actually being created by that area. The source, or the area that's creating the pain, might be somewhere different. But what I have found is if you develop an awareness of tuning into your own body, then over time you kind of know where your areas of stuckness are. And your areas of stuckness tend to be quite unique to you. So once you've discovered where they are, just being able to place the Bornite on them can get the energy flowing once again. It may not go to the root of the problem energetically, but it does help to shift you back into a state of flow once again. Now if you can't find out where the stuck areas are, then a good alternative is to place it on the navel, because there's a lot of energy flow that goes in and out of the navel. So by placing the Bornite there helps the energy of Bornite spread throughout your system, and it can be very, very useful from that perspective. So as I say, Bornite I have found to be a very useful crystal energy tool. And the good thing is, because it's so readily available in its peacock ore variety, you can actually go into gift shops, not just crystal shops, but gift shops, and see it there, because it's sort of like seen as being a pretty stone that people like to buy because of the colours. So you can get it quite readily from lots of different sources. It's not that expensive, but if you can use it, it's a wonderful stone to have to your collection, because you can use it in the way that a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner would use if they were using acupuncture or meridians, by locating on the body where the area of stuckness is, placing the bornite on that area of stuckness, and that will allow the bornite to transform the area of stuckness back into one of flow again. Okay, so that was a video about Bornite and peacock ore, but as we said, basically it's the same thing. It's just that one's been dipped in acid and one hasn't, but it's one of the most underrated healing crystals that I know about. So I just wanted to create this short video and put it back on the stage and give people a greater awareness of its possibilities. And then the other thing I would say is that some people might go, well, okay, if it's transforming negative energies into positive energies, does that mean you don't have to cleanse it? I always cleanse all of my crystals, even though some people say, oh, you don't need to cleanse blue kyanite or you don't need to cleanse citrine. I cleanse them all, you know, because there is an inconsistency in terms of what crystals don't need cleansing, and I just think it's good energy hygiene and also good for the crystals themselves, that you always assume that everything needs cleansing. So even bornite I cleanse, but have a play with it. It's got a lot of potential and it's easily available and it's not that expensive, and like I said, even though it's been dipped in acid, it still works wonders. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye for now.